Welcome back, everybody. Stay tuned to El Paso with Priss and Vic.
I'm Priss.
I'm Vic. That's how it seems to be working out for us so far. Happy things, great things, good things happening in El Paso, even as we record in a COVID world, and how quickly rules worldwide, nationwide, and El Paso-wide are changing on a day-to-day basis.
We definitely are our own little world, aren't we?
Absolutely. The things that are changing here in El Paso, I got to tell you, it's almost ironic and comical that our next guest shows up and records when he does, as we are recording these things. You've probably seen this gentleman, if pre-COVID, playing in every band. You've been in every band that there is to play in here in El Paso. You've been in some great noticeable bands as well. Mark Fowler, everybody. Bass player extraordinaire, Mark Fowler. Of course, you play other things as well. We see you recently picked up a ukulele.
Yeah, that's been kind of comical to do. And so far, I'm doing okay with it as far as learning the proper things. But my favorite things is to figure out songs that no one in their right mind would play
on the ukulele
and learn them
on a ukulele, and play them and share them as well. Mark has, in true Mark Fowler fashion, full disclosure, I got to be honest with you. As we are recording this, we've done a couple of episodes. We actually had a guest who was going to come and join us today who could not make it, and we're going to work on getting that guest back in as soon as we can.
Oh, yeah.
In true Mark Fowler fashion, little did I realize he was scheduled also for today, so he steps up and shows up and fills in, because that's what Mark does.
Yes, absolutely.
He shows up in every band I've ever seen him in. He's out there. Bass player extraordinaire, filling in. Mark, welcome to Stay Tuned El Paso.
Welcome. It's an honor to have you. I absolutely are a legend in this town.
Yeah,
not just amongst the bands, but amongst the fans.
Oh, you're just saying that because it's true.
Yeah, I love it. You see? Toot, toot, his own horn. I love it. Beep, beep, baby.
We've worked with, and Mark's style and humor is one that we quickly became quick friends with, and I admire from the beginning. What brought you to El Paso? There's a lot of things I want to get into on the musical aspect, and especially you and Priss working in the same field, if you will, or no longer working in the same field.
Paused field,
if you will. But what brings you to El Paso? Because originally you're from?
Well, I'm from Albuquerque, and usually people, when I tell people that, they say I'm the only black person they've ever met from Albuquerque. But if you know Albuquerque, I can prove I'm from there, because growing up there was all sick, bro.
Yeah. And how often did you hang out at the Frontier? The Frontier is fantastic.
When I first started at UNM, I didn't graduate. I attended the University of New Mexico. But when I first started, I went to the Frontier once a month. Easily once a month, and then after that it became once every 2 weeks, and then once a week, and then pretty much is, where's Mark? He's at the Frontier. Have
you been to you know what the Frontier?
No, but I've heard of it.
The Frontier is the equivalent of Chico's Tacos in Albuquerque, in that everybody knows the Frontier. Mm-hmm. The food is absolutely amazing, legendary at the Frontier. It's good stuff at the Frontier. And like Mark says, people just go and sort of hang out at the Frontier.
The thing that they're famous for is they've got these cinnamon rolls.
I've seen these pictures.
To die for.
I'm telling you, yeah.
To kill for.
If you're ever in Albuquerque for anything, stop at the Frontier.
Just go to the Frontier.
Get a Frontier roll. They are also connected with another company called Golden Pride Chicken. You can get Golden Pride at the Golden Pride restaurant, or you can get it at the Frontier. It's, again, amazing.
Absolutely. Either you kill for the cinnamon rolls, or you die for somebody's dying for these cinnamon rolls, trust me. So what brings the only black person in Albuquerque
to El Paso?
There was two, and the other guy is still there.
Okay, so one had to leave. You stepped up again, Mark.
That town got too big for him.
I'm the old stereotype. I was a big fish in a small pond, so I moved out to the closest big musical community that there was, which was L.A. And at the time I was married. I had 2 children who were out there, and then the marriage went south. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm comfortable saying about that. But for a couple of years there, I mean, I worked in our mutual favorite home away from home in Las Vegas. I was at Mandalay Bay for a year, which was just amazing. I had a good story to tell you about that, but we'll leave that off the air. Gotcha. If we have time for it at the end, I'll tell you that.
We'll see where we are.
But after my marriage broke up, I was literally the punchline of the old joke. You know, they always say if you know what do you call a single musician? Homeless.
Yeah.
Well, that was me for a couple of years. I met my lovely second wife, Roseanne, who I'm still with, and it was killing me trying to afford living in Los Angeles. Well, I was in Orange County, but still, the cost of living was just killing me. My sister has been here for 30 years, and she said, "Why don't you move over to El Paso with us? Since there's a great music scene here, jobs are creating, there's houses, the cost of living is really cheap." And so I said, well, what have I got to lose? And my dad retired from Fort Bliss in the 60s, so this is my second go-around living in El Paso. But when I got here, I could not find any of the stuff my sister said was here. It was like,
where are these hidden treasures
yeah,
you speak of?
But over the 10 years that I've been here, and I'm even me saying it out loud, I can't believe it's been 10 years. But every time I've tried to move, things go comically awry, very Seinfeldian. One example was we got this job, Roseanne and I got this job in Corona, California, as caretakers for 2 elderly people. And the week before we were going to move, their house burned down in one of the fires in Riverside. So I got the point. I said, God, okay, I get it. I'm going to stay.
Don't leave, Mark. You can't leave.
I'm here. I get it.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
And the funny thing was that, you know, being a big shot from Orange County, California, I'm a professional musician, played with all kinds of people. At Vegas and things like that. I got here to El Paso, and nobody cared.
But I think in the community, though, and again, you said it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Within that 10 years, in that community, everybody knows you.
Yeah, I had a comeuppance, but it took longer than I expected.
Well, 10 years. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Some of the more notable bands. Well, Jesus, I said you're in every band. Some of the more notable bands that you've been in. Run down a short list. I think you and Priscilla have played, have you not?
We have, in fact, and actually, but yeah, I was with Hypnosis for quite a long time. I have my own band, Afropick, which that's me, Jesus Castillo, and Nico Perkins. We do kind of a neo soul funk thing. I've backed up Siobhan a number of times. Currently, I also play with the Dream Merchants, which is a great job, and I don't know if we can get into that one on the podcast either. But the Reader's Digest condensed version was
Dream Merchants are one of my absolute favorites. I mean, I love
awesome.
all the bands in town, but Dream Merchants are.
Well, their original bass player and I wouldn't say best friends, but we were very close, and we would sit anytime I would go see them. Rob and I would sit in the back in some corner and have this like 20 level deep bass conversation that nobody else was interested in. So Rob and I sit there, talk basses and amps and things like that. Well, when Rob passed away, there really wasn't anybody else that they thought of to replace him with me. And they called me originally to sub for a gig that they had after Rob passed, and I've been there for a year now.
and God bless Rob. He was one of a kind also. I know he was, I saw him literally bumped into Dream Merchants as we were out and about doing something somewhere downtown, whatever it was. And, oh, hey, Dream Merchant Band is playing. And got to see them and him one last time. And it was shortly thereafter that he ended up passing away. And I know he's greatly missed in the community because he was phenomenal in his own right. And again, the Dream Merchants, I think, picked the cream of the crop. They are the best of the best in what they do. So it's no wonder that they would pick somebody like you without hesitation, I'm sure, to come and fill in. And not even so much fill in or replace, but just do that next job.
Yeah, and they're great. They're a great team to work with. They're a lot of fun. Really talented people, so I enjoy that a lot.
Awesome. What's kept you here? Is it the music scene?
It is. It actually is. People always ask me, since I've been out there in LA and Orange County and things like that, if there's a difference in the musicians there and here. And what I always tell them is the best is the best. Doesn't matter where you are. The best people are the best people. There is a difference between, and of course the worst people, but we won't talk about them. But there is a difference in the middle. The run-of-the-mill medium guys in California are a little better than the medium guys here, but the top's the top, and there's way less ego here than there was in California among those top musicians. So.
Do you think, so you've been doing this for 10 years, and as much as I know about the music scene here, which really isn't all that much, but do you think the ego, and this is also an open-ended question for you, Priss, do you think the egos have died down here locally in the past 10, 15 years? Before it was real competitive, before it was real cutthroat.
I can't say that you can really compare them. It's like apples and oranges because social media. Egos with social media associated with egos with music, I think, are different, but they can also collide and create monsters. Mm-hmm. Just saying. It
was, late 80s, early 90s in El Paso music scene. It was about the time that I was breaking into radio, and so starting to get to know these bands. And again, I'm not going to mention a band name because I don't want to say they were or weren't.
Start some drama.
Yeah, no. Of course not. But it seemed like it was more cutthroat then. Than what it is now. And maybe the attitude then was, and again, this is my ignorance in the whole scene, but maybe the attitude then was, we're going to make it big. We're going to move on to something else.
It was
to hell with everybody
back then
else.
You didn't have social media to help push your platform. So you really did have to be able to travel. You had to be good enough for promoters to come see you to be able to get signed. And then after that is when you finally got marketing. But
Absolutely.
now you can suck and market the hell out of yourself and you will make money just because you suck.
Yeah.
I mean, right? It's a whole different epitome of egos now.
It's all about being known now, and it's not necessarily about being good, because I know some really, really great musicians that can't get noticed anywhere, and I know some really horrible ones that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
Local. I mean, you're talking about the people on the local.
Nationally, but yeah, locally too.
Even on the local. I mean, I'm just calling it out.
Just because there's some people that will literally play for peanuts. And it's hard to compete with people like that too. Like that's where you step into ego as well. Once again, when it comes down to the price tag and like we were talking about earlier with now, because safety precautions, is it really worth, going out there and exposing myself? And
so let's get into that now. And again, this is obviously the focus is going to shift to you also, Priss. For those who don't know, Priss fronts the Broken Dime band. You're in a band. You're the singer of a band, and have been in a few bands as well. You've been with Broken Dime band for the majority of the longest now. However, as we are recording here in mid-October 2020, do I have to say any more? We are in a COVID, I'm not even saying pre-post, whatever. We are in a COVID world where rules worldwide, nationwide, statewide, citywide are changing minute by minute. There's a Doobie Brothers reference for you. Minute by minute. How difficult. It's difficult enough for you guys, for you to get a set gig anyway. See, kids, back in January, February, March, we were able to go out and see bands perform at a club, at a bar, at a restaurant. Now, that's just not happening. Yeah. How difficult was it then, and the transition to literally having the rug pulled out from underneath you? Priss had a gig tonight.
That's obviously not
canceled.
I had the same occurrence last night, and we actually talked about when they first changed the rules, shut us back down. We talked about doing kind of a last hurrah party on Thursday instead, and we just didn't really have enough time to promote it. But as we were doing this, the place that I was going to play got a notice that said they were going to be sending out inspectors starting at 9 p.m. to make sure we were in compliance. I said, okay, well, that kind of shoots out our party plan.
Yeah.
If we have to be done by 9 and we start at 8, well,
yeah.
And rules be damned and attitudes be damned. I understand it. I can see it from both sides. I can see it. And again, without getting all too very political about the whole situation, because the fact of the matter is we are in it. whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you see it from the bar owner stance, whether you see it from the performer stance, and whether you see it from the person who needs to be safe and careful and masked up and I'm not going out stance. You need to look at it every situation and every circumstance. The fact of the matter is it sucks all around. Nobody's getting the entertainment. Me, the audience, I'm not getting the entertainment that I'm dying to see. The performers aren't getting the money that they are dying to see. The restaurants aren't getting the traffic flow that they are desperately and dying needing to get into. It's difficult all across the board, and it's got to be difficult for a local musician, vagabond, if you will. You're busking, and even at that, Mark was doing something that I know a lot of musicians started doing. You were busking digital. Explain what number one.
Just sitting in my bedroom playing with my iPad facing at me, and I put up my Cash App and other things that you could donate to me if you wanted to. And I honestly really am uncomfortable asking people for money like that. It really does, but I didn't have a choice. And I also do a teaching business. I teach bass and guitar lessons and voice lessons. And when this all happened, you'd think I would transfer to an online platform. I wanted to. Nobody was interested in taking online bass lessons. They all want the in-person thing.
Yeah, and there's just some things that,
So I had some students when it shut down, and it got dwindled down to like 2. It was starting to pick up again. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks.
Hopefully within the coming weeks. And again, as we are recording, although I've said a lot of things that have been proven different otherwise during this whole pandemic, but hopefully in the next coming weeks, we'll start to see a change around. I mean, that's just me being hopeful. Maybe, again, me being naive.
We're manifesting. It's going to get better. So. The end of the year is the end of everything, please.
So that being said, what is a long-term goal for Mark Fowler? I mean, does Mark want to leave? Does Mark want to become the big-time celebrity in LA again?
The thing that has happened in the last few years that happens to work really well for me is that you don't have to be in LA anymore, or Nashville or Austin or any of those places to get out there and get noticed. So I've been slowly transitioning into a not necessarily a solo artist, but a recording and performing artist by myself without bands. I've been threatening to do a CD for probably 16 years now, and
follow through with that threat, Mark.
I'm almost finished. Woo! I got like two more songs to do, and I could submit it to CD Baby. A couple of years ago, I did my first single, One Step, which is still available on there. And shout out to Rosie Varela and the people from Nowhere Else Records. I was the number 1 selling artist on our label. Now, by that, I sold $15 worth of downloads, and nobody else broke 10. So,
hey.
But yeah, I'm going to put that on the next album as well, plus 8 or 9 other songs, and I'm going to look at doing that more, doing my own music rather than covers as much. Now, when the bars open back up, you'll probably still see me doing covers.
Yeah, but then you get to throw in your new things in the middle, which is a treat.
Yeah,
something that people really do love, and we miss out more here than anything. We love doing covers, but when you have that original music,
that's what gets you out there. One of the things that I do want to talk about. One of the things that I do want to talk about is your Bass Karma project.
Oh yeah.
Which is how long you been doing this now?
This
is a great deal, by the way.
This is the 4th year that I'm going to be doing it, and basically, I've been extremely blessed over the 40 plus years that I've been doing this. I've had people give me amplifiers. Somebody bought me a bass once. People give me rides places when I don't have a car, which is, again, an issue, but that's another conversation.
Rasta van.
But yeah, people have always gathered around me and taken really good care of me, and I've wanted to give back. So about 4 years ago, I came upon this idea that I was just going to buy a cheap bass, something that's not expensive, but is at least playable and workable. And I was going to find a kid between middle school and high school that needs it and just give it to him. Here you go. Give them a couple of lessons if I have to, and I talked to all of the music and, band and choir teachers in town, and all of the choir directors from the churches, and got them to nominate somebody. And so I went to do this, and before I could reach into my wallet and buy the bass, people started sending me money. They started sending me gig bags, bass strings, cables, and this has gone on for 4 years now. I do it twice a year, and this is about the time for it to come up again. So,
are you still going to do it this year? I mean, I know it's difficult.
I'm still going to do it. It's going to be challenging because I don't know what's going on in the schools, whether kids are actually going to school now or if it's all online. But I think those resources are all still there. I currently have a gig bag and some cables. I just need a bass now.
Almost there.
So,
I think we'll get there. I think something will happen.
Spread the word, okay,
I usually
guys?
start it right around, a couple weeks before Halloween, which it is.
Right now.
Go on, and I try to deliver the instrument before Christmas.
Awesome. And if people need to get a hold of you, obviously you're all over social media. You can't miss.
Yeah, I got 5 Facebook pages.
Mark Fowler,
different bands.
ladies and
But
gentlemen.
yeah, if you go on to Facebook, and unfortunately I don't know the URL, but if you go on Facebook and you type in Karma Bass Project, that's me.
Okay.
Or you can go to my personal page, which is Mark Fowler.
Which, by the way, is a great page to be a part
Very
of.
entertaining, yes.
Mark's
I love it.
community.
I have a lot of fun on your community.
Yeah, I love a lot of what you have to say. I think I may agree with about 95 to 99%. And that which I don't agree with, we agree that we shake hands and we move on with things.
Well, we agree mutually on the Prince things.
That we agree on Prince.
This must be big, interesting.
What we don't agree with, and we almost come to fisticuffs with, is Star Trek versus Star Wars. We won't get into.
Well, but I like both.
But
though.
I know.
I do prefer the Trek though.
Mark is
like Yoda.
Mark is the biggest, one of the biggest, and I don't mean this literally, but Mark is one of the biggest geeks I know. So
You're saying that to him?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. So it's always fun to check him out there. So if people need to get a hold of you, number one, for the Bass Karma Project, and number two, I know the band community here in town already knows how to get a hold of you,
Yeah,
but people need to get a hold of you for band and stuff. And just what a fantastic bass player. The one thing I look forward to on my birthday, and I love watching it on everybody else's birthday, Mark will always send a YouTube link of him playing Happy Birthday to you on the bass. So
Wow, well, mine's coming up in November, Mark. I hope to get one.
you'll get to see. I just wish he'd personalize them. It's the same one that's been running for about 5 years, Mark.
Well, no, I
Just
change
throw
it
a
every
filter
year.
on or something.
I change
Oh, you
it
do?
every year, yeah, but this year I might do something completely different since I got that nice guitar that I've been playing, which is weird because I've actually been playing guitar longer than I've been playing bass, but never seriously. Bass has always been the driving thing, but now that I got this guitar, I'm having fun
Very
playing with
fun
it.
exploring it.
But yeah, I might actually do something with more than one instrument and more than one camera view for the next birthday video.
Maybe a ukulele.
You should,
in
yeah,
there.
I'll just say
Or
for
a
him,
ukulele, yeah.
make him a
Yeah,
ukulele.
you're-
Happy birthday.
You're learning the uke, Mark. It's always a pleasure just to sit down and chit chat with you. as we
Absolutely honored to be here with
slowly-
this legend, Mark Fowler.
slowly start to wrap things up here. And again, are still going to stay in El Paso? I guess you can't
Yeah,
leave.
no, I can't leave.
You're not allowed. I'm sorry, you're not allowed.
I've tried. I can't get out of this joint.
That's too funny.
He's the only black guy in Albuquerque to escape, and the only black guy in El Paso not military. I think is what it boils down to. So you can find Mark pretty much
Yeah,
anywhere.
it was funny. One of the I briefly dabbled with stand-up comedy as well. And when I first got here, I opened for a guy who was a road comic, and the first thing that he said was, I've never seen this many black people in El Paso before in my life. Tell me the truth. All of y'all's cars broke down and you just decided, screw it, I'm going to stay.
That's what happens. I think that's what happens here. Well, look at Mark. He doesn't have a
Happy
car.
accident.
He doesn't have a car at the moment. Anything else that you want to cover? Anything else that you want to talk about? I love the Bass Karma Project.
No, but I'll tell you what, I will tell you that story that I mentioned from
Do we have time for the mental? Okay, I got to check with our producer.
This will be quick, I promise.
If it's Vegas, I got to hear it.
One night, so I used to play in the lounge, in the Island Lounge in the Mandalay Bay, and my room was up on the 10th floor, and it was the same elevator that goes up to the foundation room there in Mandalay Bay. So the gig was over, and I ran to the elevator to go, change clothes or whatever, and Randy Macho Man Savage and some ridiculously hot girl get in the elevator with me. Now I'm sitting there thinking I'm starstruck, but I don't want to say anything and be embarrassing. So I keep looking over at him, and of course, also look at the girl every now and then. Couldn't help it. If Randy Savage caught my eye as I was checking out the girl, and he went, It was the funniest thing. I was like, nobody will believe this story if I tell it. So I tell it all the time.
Yeah. He didn't even give you an, oh, yeah.
No.
Just looked at you
Just
and
like, that's right.
really, where else but Vegas?
Yeah.
You
Boys will
can't
be
tell that
boys.
story anywhere else. It had to be
Of
in
course.
Vegas. You're listening to Stay Tuned El Paso. You're watching Stay Tuned El Paso with Priss and Vic, our guest this afternoon. This episode has been Mark Fowler. True. And you know what? I'm going to call you El Pasoan. True El Paso legend here. You like the Mexican food?
Oh, yeah.
You eat the Chico's tacos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's an El Paso.
He's baptized now. That's it.
If he can handle the Albuquerque chili and then come to El Paso and eat the Mexican food, good to go. Absolute. Make sure you check out Mark wherever he's at, all over his social media pages. And of course, for the both of you, I mean this, but Mark, for you, I hope we get back into being out there and being in front of a crowd again and playing and performing, because you are fantastic as a musician, fantastic as a singer. And I'll say it, I'm missing you on stage and all my other bandmates and friends out there. I hope we get past this all together. We do it safely, healthy, and we get back into it ASAP, because I know you need that. Not just the money side of it, but I know the passion in you as well.
I need the outlet.
Yeah, it's exactly the perfect word to describe it. The outlet for not just us, but for everybody as well.
Absolutely. I know that's why he's here. He couldn't give a flip about the podcast. He just wanted to get out of the house. He just had to get out. I'll go do whatever. We'll talk about whatever. You're listening to Stay Tuned El Paso. Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye. Hey guys, it's Stay Tuned El Paso with Priss and Vic. I'm Priss.
I'm Vic. Make sure you tune in again this week for another fantastic, exciting episode all across our social media sites and, of course, right here as well. Stay tuned, El Paso.
Priss and Vic.